Hey guys, I've been thinking a lot about the cost of rentals and how they're increasing, and I wanted to fill you guys in on how I see this as a real estate investor and a real estate agent on why these rental prices are rising. So not only are taxes, insurance, and repair costs going up, but you also have to account into the effect the home value going up. And you may think, why does this matter? Well, for me, it's fluidity in my investment. If I purchase a house like the first one that Kelsey and I had, we purchased the house, the value was around $100,000. We ended up renting it out for $1,200 a month. The first tenant was in there for about 2 years. Within that 2 years, the house had appreciated into about $140,000 home. That $1,200 a month was perfectly fine as far as cash flows goes and paying us back and giving us some profit at the end of every month. But when she moved out 2 years later, we then were faced with, do we rent it out again for $1,200 a month, or do we increase the rent because the value of the home has increased? And why is that important? Well, because one of the downfalls with investing in real estate is it's so hard to get your funds back out of the property, especially if you got the property under rented. Basically, the only way you can get any kind of money back out of your investment would be to sell the property or refinance the property. And to sell an investment property with a tenant in it, a lot of investors look for what's called the 1% rule. So if the house is rented for 1% of the purchase price, it sometimes makes a good investment. That's been kind of skewed lately because of the higher interest rates. You have to look for 1.5% deals. But in any sort of case that Kelsey and I had a financial burden and had to scrape some of our savings out of the equity of our properties, we would have to sell the properties or refinance them. We wouldn't be able to refinance if we were renting the property for less than the value of the home, and we wouldn't be able to sell for market value, say $140,000, if the property was rented at $1,200. Now, we have run into issues on the real estate side where somebody needs to sell an investment property that a tenant is in, they've got a lease, the landlord can actually break that lease, so they can't just sell the house and say good luck to the tenant. That lease has to be upheld by the new owner. Any owner-occupants that want to purchase a property with tenants in it have to either mandate that the tenant's going to be out at a certain time, and then the landlord has to go back to the tenant and offer them cash for keys or try to negotiate ending the lease early, just like a tenant would if a tenant wanted out of a lease early. But in that case, you're really putting yourself in a bind when the property's under rented. I deal with a lot of these investors that have been in the game for 30 years and their houses are paid off, and so they don't have a mortgage that they have to pay. They're renting these properties, these $100,000 properties at $650 a month. And then whenever we go to sell it, I have to explain to them that we have to get the tenant out or raise the rent to market rent, because we're not going to be able to sell a $100,000 investment property if it's only bringing in $650. A new investor is going to purchase that, and if they put 20% down on $100,000, their payments are going to be $800 a month. So at $800 a month mortgage payment, but they're only getting $650 in the bank, it's not going to work out. Rising rents have a lot to do with the appreciation of real estate, and that's why I think if you're renting a property, that you get into home ownership. The reason being, not only do you get affected by insurance that's raising, taxes that are raising, but you also get affected by the home price raising. Because whenever that home price raises, you can expect that your landlord is going to increase your rent as well. If you're not, you're lucky. A lot of the times, you are going to get rental increases. Instead of appreciation working against you by raising your rent, you should buy a home. Save up the $5,000 that it takes to buy a home. Purchase a property not only as a home, but as an investment, a hedge against inflation, because whenever everything else is inflating, so are home prices. This is another reason why homeowners have a greater net worth than renters, is because of appreciation. And you only get appreciation if you own real estate. I know it may be a hard pill to swallow, and I don't mean to throw this in your face. I'm only here to educate and hopefully help people buy a home, invest in their future, build a solid financial foundation to grow your wealth through real estate. And I hope that the videos that I put out kind of show you that and help you understand where I'm coming from and how this whole real estate thing works. That's all I've got for you today. Thanks, guys.